And welcome back to another long-awaited episode of the Silly Ghost channel. I'm your host, the Silly Ghost, and as you already know by the title and thumbnail, I'm going to be talking about Aussie YouTuber, or more accurately, disgraced former YouTuber, Marcus Dibble, who recently pleaded guilty in court for grooming a teenage girl for sex, along with other serious charges. For those watching who may not know, Marcus Dibble was a popular YouTuber back in 2015 to 2018, who was best known for doing these call-out videos about certain people online. He stopped uploading and I figured he must have thrown in the towel and moved on with his life. But then I heard about this and thought,
wait a minute, what the hell?
So in light of what has now transpired, it turns out that Dibble is much worse than any of the people he ever called out. According to articles by the ABC and News.com, Marcus Dibble, 27, today appeared in the Melbourne Magistrates Court where he was given an 18-month community-based order for possessing, producing and distributing child abuse material between 2019 and 2020. He now admits he groomed his victim, who was between 13 and 15, through sexualized communication, complimenting her appearance and suggesting she take graphic photos for him. Well, Dibble, this has certainly made an old video of yours age like fine milk.
So isn't Percy 12 and you're meant to be 19? But guys, it's alright, don't stress. Lynn, it's okay. Age is just a number. And jail's just a fucking room.
The disgraced YouTube star was silent after being sentenced for grooming a 13-year-old girl for sex.
Do you have any remorse for what you did, mate? Any remorse at all?
Magistrate Ross Maxted said Dibble's offending was very serious. It's clear that both the victim and the victim's mother have been impacted, he said. It is important to note, however, that the imagery in this proceeding involves, as I was told, but one image, and falls, as the prosecution submitted to me, in the lowest category, he said. This one image that the judge is referring to was a photo of the victim that police discovered when they raided Dibble's house. The photo was altered in a way that made the girl look sexually suggestive, along with a lewd caption attached to it. I'm very conscious of the effect this offending has had on the victim by way of stress and anxiety, Mr. Maxted said. But Mr. Maxted said the community's concerns could be mitigated by way of a community corrections order, and Dibble was unlikely to re-offend. At the time of his offending, Dibble had multiple YouTube channels and more than 750,000 subscribers on the platform. He also ran a sexually explicit photography business via Instagram, and in April 2019, he posted a questionnaire to attract new models. It was through that platform that he met his victim, who told him that she was 13. Court documents revealed Dibble said to the girl that it was fine, and he wanted to meet her to take photographs.
Age is just a number.
Dibble, who was 24 at the time, also claimed he had contacted the girl's mother for permission. Within weeks, Dibble had sent the girl 25 photographs of women in sexually suggestive poses. By May 2019, the pair was regularly messaging on Snapchat. "Just thinking of you," Dibble said in one message. "Right now, I'm mature and I like you. I'm telling you the truth," he said in another. In another message, Dibble praised the girl for being open-minded and aware at your age. "Have a great day, you little legend," he wrote. Dibble also groomed the girl while she was at school and through phone calls. Court documents reveal that as time went on, his advances became more sexually explicit, and on one occasion he told the child, yeah, I don't need to read any of that out. You get the idea. He later asked the girl whether she would be interested in meeting him when she turned 16. In mid-2020, Dibble booked accommodation through Airbnb and invited the girl there. He rented the house from the 5th to the 7th of July. However, the girl did not show up. This prompted her mother to call the police. When investigators raided Dibble's home, they found steroids and child abuse material. The court today heard Dibble had since moved to Queensland to start a new life, but lost his job after his court case was reported. Magistrate Maxted fined Dibble $5,000 for possessing the steroids and registered him as a sex offender for 15 years. He was also ordered to perform 150 hours of unpaid community work. Okay, so Dibble has avoided jail and will do some community service instead. Now, I don't know about you, but I see that as quite a lenient sentence to say the very least, especially for what he pleaded guilty to, and God knows what else he would have done if the girl's parents hadn't intervened and she went to meet him at the Airbnb that he booked for a couple of nights. I have seen some comments where people have highlighted how you can be thrown in jail for protesting against the lockdowns, but then the courts allow this guy who was preying on a child, one of the most heinous crimes you can think of, to avoid jail and be out in society with just a bit of community service work. It doesn't seem very fair, does it? I guess the best way to look at this outcome is from a long-term social perspective. Dibble's life and reputation is now absolutely ruined. 15 years as a registered sex offender is a very long time, so he'd be really struggling to find a job in anything with that hanging over him. It's said that he's been receiving death threats and most likely finds it difficult to go out in public, where there's always a strong chance of getting recognised. The chances are he's lost a whole heap of friends because no one wants to be associated with a predator, and his YouTube career is dead and buried. So in a perfect world, he should be off the streets and in jail. But the social punishment of being a registered sex offender and having your name and face plastered all over the news and across social media is certainly going to make this extremely hard for Dibble to move on from for quite some time. Overall, it's just really shocking and disappointing to hear that someone who I thought was funny and whose content I quite enjoyed go down this path. I guess the best thing to take away from all this is to tell parents to be more aware of what their kids are doing online, especially with who they might be talking to, because the internet, particularly social media, has made it much easier for all the creeps out there to prey on our most vulnerable members in our community. So Dibble, you reap what you sow, mate. You brought this on yourself, and you deserve all the shit that's going to keep coming your way. In lighter news, I am still currently working on a video where I'll be talking about a small handful of favourite films that are now 20 years old. One of those being Shrek, hence why I've been feeling quite mature lately. So, stay tuned for that. All in all, stay safe, stay classy, and I'll see yous all next time. Until then, I'm your host, the Silly Ghost, signing out.